Welcome. Thank you for joining our roundtable, where we will showcase your international activities and programs, learn from each other, and look for opportunities to collaborate. Through a series of 5 roundtables over the next 2 days, we will explore the idea of developing an international education consortium model for colleges and universities in West Virginia. And this consortium would promote sharing of best practices for internationalization of the curriculum and look for ways to connect our global-ready graduates with careers in West Virginia's growing global economy. The idea of a Global West Virginia Consortium was initiated in October 2022 with a $210,000 2-year useful grant from the U.S. Department of Education to Bluefield State University, West Virginia State University, and the Commission to strengthen international studies and world languages at these 2 HBCU institutions and have some impact statewide. Now, we use the funding from the useful grant to sponsor this event because we realize there are no other West Virginia-based forums or organizations that educators can join to share what they are doing to internationalize their courses. You will learn more about the useful grant during the first roundtable, as well as another grant that Marshall University and Bridge Valley Community and Technical College recently received from the U.S. Department of State, an IDEAS grant to establish a faculty-led study abroad program in Ireland. Now, why do we need a Global West Virginia Consortium? Well, there's a lack of study abroad and global internship programs available for first-generation, low-income, and community college students. There are fewer opportunities across the state to study world languages, much fewer than there were 5 years ago, especially with the elimination of world language programs at WVU and some other universities across the state. Only WVU and Marshall have a study abroad office that's staffed with a full-time study abroad advisor. FACTUS, the only West Virginia consortium dedicated to faculty and course development in international studies since 1980, is no more. West Virginia ranks nationally 48th in sending U.S. students to study abroad, with 208 students abroad in 2023, compared to over 1,000 in 2018. There has been a 43% decrease in the number of international students since 2018. And our national ranking has fallen from 38, we were 38th, now we're 43. During our second roundtable, we will hear from representatives from business, government, nonprofit, and K-12 schools to join us so that we can learn from each other and explore how we can work together to better prepare our students for careers in West Virginia's increasingly globalized economy. Now, we currently have over 1,000 West Virginia companies exporting $6.2 billion in goods and services to 147 countries, and we have direct investments from 136 foreign companies from 30 countries. West Virginia's global economy supports 56,000 jobs, and there is potential to create even more of these jobs if we have a workforce that has the types of employees these internationally focused companies want. When we talk about internationalization, which is basically higher ed or education's response to globalization, which is not going to stop, it's going to keep, it's like the weather, it doesn't go away. We're talking about preparing students for these jobs at these globally engaged companies and organizations. Now, universities traditionally use these kinds of programs and activities to internationalize teaching and learning. So during our third roundtable, we're going to hear from 4 universities in our state that are using some of these internationalization activities The roundtable discussions, they're focused on faculty and their efforts to integrate international topics, perspectives, and experiences into their courses and the curriculum. But that's not to say that the work you guys are doing with the curriculum, to lead study abroad programs or engage in COIL projects with foreign partner faculty and universities, that's not to say that you guys are not contributing to the goal of increasing international student enrollment. We have to be very clear about that. On the contrary, international students feel more welcomed and valued on a campus where U.S. students are studying abroad and learning world languages and cultures. Universities that neglect internationalization of the curriculum will be less attractive to international students, and this will negatively impact recruitment and retention of international students. In fact, there are some higher education budget models that reinvest some of the out-of-state tuition revenue generated from international student enrollment into other internationalization activities, such as study abroad programs for U.S. students, because higher education leaders recognize the importance of a comprehensively internationalized campus to their bottom line. We're going to look at capacity building during our fourth roundtable discussion, which is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And at this session, we're going to hear from the Study Abroad office at WVU. And so they're going to talk about that infrastructure, that administrative infrastructure that's so important to doing study abroad. And then during our final roundtable session tomorrow, we'll talk about next steps. The roundtable speakers will only have 5 minutes each to discuss their projects within the context of these 5 roundtable themes, and each roundtable will bring us closer to the end goal of the event, which is to capture a snapshot of the landscape of international education in West Virginia and discuss how we're going to move forward. We used to have an organization in West Virginia called FACTUS. It was based at WVU since 1980, and it was dedicated to course and faculty development and international studies. It was a consortium of 19 West Virginia institutions of higher education with 325 participating faculty from more than 75 disciplines. Unfortunately, FACTUS is no longer. I recently interviewed Dr. Jack Hammersmith and Dr. Jim Siegmeyer. These are two history professors at WVU and former directors of FACTUS. And I interviewed them for the first episode of our new Global West Virginia podcast. And I encourage you to watch the interview to learn more about the history of FACTUS and understand better the void that was left behind when we lost this organization. My colleagues and I believe that a consortium like FACTUS is still needed to support faculty and course development in international studies and to advocate for a more comprehensive approach to internationalization. This will help make our campuses more attractive and welcoming to international students, enhance our university's academic quality, increase our research capacity, promote intercultural learning, and strengthen the global economy of West Virginia. So welcome, and we're going to hear from Jason and Zelly and Jim and Jamie in just a bit.